And away we go. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken right here on BearcatJournal.com, www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Go to the website. They will bring it right to your front door pretty much anywhere inside the 275 loop, or head down and see our friends in Dayton, Kentucky. Maybe you want to tell them to pump it up. If you pump it up, you'll save 15% off of the Galactic goodness, open Wednesday through Sunday, lunch and dinner. Hi, Aaron. How's it going, buddy?
Weekend's never long enough, ever.
So it's spring break for Kelsey this week. So I don't have that inherent in my mind, like we have to be up at 7 a.m. tomorrow. And she has a couple friends spending the night. I forgot it was Sunday all day. Like, just no idea that it's not the environment that my brain associates with Sunday. So it's not Sunday here. It's some other random day. I'm not sure what day though. Huh. It's funny because yesterday Kelsey was like, today doesn't feel like Saturday. It feels like Sunday. And then Sunday doesn't feel like anything. Anyhow, enough rambling for me. Let's get rocking and rolling. A lot to get to. 3 announcements on the basketball front. We'll start in chronological order. Aziz Bandaogo announces his return to Cincinnati, but with the caveat that he will be testing the NBA draft waters, which you should do if you have aspirations of playing in the NBA and you have 1 year left in college. You at least hear what they have to say. And that's what Aziz is doing. Go ahead.
Yeah. I saw something. I saw somewhere that he was ranked, and this is several weeks ago, so who knows where he currently stands. No one's put out their NBA draft rankings here this week. I'm sure those will start rolling out after the tournament's officially over. But yeah. I saw somewhere a couple weeks ago that he was ranked as the number 60 prospect going into the NBA, which would put him right at the very end of the second round, which I wouldn't imagine that's where you want to be. But in the league is better than outside looking in.
Sure. I mean, obviously, we're in the NIL era. So if you don't get drafted, guess what? You're going to make a bunch more money in college than you would have in the NBA. And I think Aziz would tell you, like, there's things to work on. Like, he's got to work on being a more effective player on offense, a more efficient player on offense. Sure. Where you're never going to, Aziz is never going to be Danny Fortson, where you're feeding him in the post. But you have to feel confident that a couple times a game you can throw it to him and he can produce a modicum of offense. And that wasn't the case this year. So in terms of like will he be on the roster next year or not? I think it's safe to say, yeah, Aziz plans on coming back, but he also wants to, get feedback and figure out what needs to work on, what are the challenges that lie ahead of him in getting to the NBA. As far as for Cincinnati, it's massive because your anchor is back on defense. He gives you something that very few teams have in terms of a guy that just, even when he doesn't block shots, he's down there and everybody knows it. Right. And that helps exponentially when essentially the game is threes and dunks, threes and layups. Well, if you got a guy that's 7 foot down there altering all the layups, you become a lot more difficult to defeat.
I guess the only downside if he does end up getting drafted into the NBA, that leaves Cincinnati with one whole big man in Sage.
If I was worried about that, I would have talked about that, but I'm not. So we'll see. Aziz plans on coming back.
I get it. He said as much in his announcement. I understand.
Yeah. That's what the portal's there for. You need a backup big man right now anyway. Go get somebody that's good.
I concur.
And then Josh Reed announced he would be back. I think it's a solid rotation piece. I think you have 13 scholarships to fill. You need different types of guys to fill those different spots. Josh filled a role on a really good team last year. He'll fill a role on a good team next year.
I hope that he and Aziz are both working on their offense in the offseason.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things with Josh is he's got to I understand this year in that you're trying to fill a very specific niche, whatever that the team needs. And your focus is entirely on that. So on offense, his focus was defense. Come in, give John Newman a breather and provide high-level defense. Going into next year, you can't just be the guy off the bench that comes in and plays defense for, 2 segments over the course of a game, 1 segment and a half. You have to be better than that. And you have to be a guy that's a threat. You can't catch the ball wide open on the perimeter and not be, set and in position to shoot an open shot. You can't just be a guy that moves the ball. Like that's,
especially if CJ Frederick's coming back, you already have that guy.
Yeah, different because Josh is closer to the 5 than he is the 2. I get what you're saying.
You can't just have guys hanging out around the arc.
Right.
I'm also curious. I'm also curious to see if Rayvon Griffith can challenge him for minutes, as Rayvon will no longer be a redshirt. So I guess it just kind of depends on what Rayvon brings after this year and what kind of step forward he can take in his game as well.
Sure. I'd also say though, Aaron, why did Rayvon redshirt this year?
There was a lot of guys for not enough minutes.
One specific reason that Rayvon redshirted. He couldn't beat out Josh Reed in the rotation. Mm-hmm. So if he's ready to beat out Josh Reed in the rotation, then this is a better roster. But we've had that scenario once, and Josh Reed was the guy that got the nod. So it's just something to keep in mind as that goes into the offseason.
All you got to do is hit like 2 shots a game, and you're better than Josh Reed.
It's categorically false, but I know you like being wrong, so I'll let you have that.
I like offense.
Yeah, offense is great, but Alabama loves offense, and UConn played a modicum of defense on them, and they went home. You have to be able to do both. Speaking of defense, finally, last night, Day Thomas announces his return. No real surprise on that one. I didn't envision a world where Day was going anywhere, but he's back.
Yeah. He was a huge piece of this team this season, and I don't see a world where he's not a huge piece next season, regardless of what they find in the portal to come in and add to this team, whether it's a combo guard, a pure 2, whatever the case may be. I think we'll continue to see plenty of Day Thomas.
Yeah, and you hope year 2, like the JUCO jump, or it's becoming anymore. And look, that was always the thing about like the JUCO leap. It's everybody. Freshmen have a hard time adjusting. Transfers have a hard time in that first year going from one school to the other. Junior college players have a hard time making that jump. Cincinnati had a difficult time making a jump from the American to the Big 12. When you're taking a significant leap in competition, it doesn't just automatically click. But I do think with Day we saw it click more down the stretch until he got hurt. And hopefully offensively, he can give you really with him, you just need a little bit more, Aaron. You don't need a ton more with him.
It was crazy that both he and Jizzle were probably better from that 12 to 18 foot range than they were behind the arc, but they both have to find that 3-point shot because it was not there for either of them really for most of the season.
The fewer guys you have that can stretch the floor, the difficulty of being able to score increases exponentially. So, yes. Trying to think of baseball. How about baseball? Get to baseball real quick.
Yes.
They sweep TCU. TCU was the preseason pick. Now they have not played particularly well so far this season, but they were the preseason pick and in some places ranked as high as 5th in the country. Let's give a little love to Jordan Bischel. I mean,
well, it's funny you bring up the preseason rankings because Cincinnati was preseason last place.
Yeah.
In the Big 12, and all of a sudden they sit currently tied for third, I guess, at 7-5 in the Big 12, 19-13 overall currently, behind Kansas State, who's also I guess tied with Kansas State at 7-5, but Kansas State is 20-10 overall. West Virginia
don't go off conference records. Yeah.
West Virginia at 7-4, Oklahoma at 8-3. So you're in good company in a tough conference.
Yeah, and everybody's kind of bunched up. So if you continue playing well, you can play yourself, up the standings pretty quickly.
They run ruled today to finish the sweep. They run ruled the preseason number 1. Look, I know we don't love moral victories on this show, but man, you got the actual victory and something else to hang your hat on.
I don't think there's anything moral about it. It's confidence, right? Like we're playing well, and now all of a sudden we can make some noise in this league.
Yeah,
their pitching still is a little bit of a concern, but they pitched well. They haven't had some of the issues that I was worried about with how young their staff was. So if they can keep up momentum and keep up playing with confidence, they can be really good in this conference.
TCU scored a grand total of 6 runs in this 3-game series. And that's been the main concern is pitching. You score 6 runs against a team in 3 games, 2 per. That's really good pitching.
They've picked it up. And then we also have a football commit. I'm going to go with Colin, Kolin, until told otherwise. Colin Wilson commits to the Bearcats. He is a 3-star recruit from Gulf Shores, Alabama, 2,300 all-purpose yards last year, 33 touchdowns. One of those guys that in this, we keep hearing about the outside zone. This is a guy in outside zone because he can put that foot in the ground and get upfield and read it and get to top speed quickly. This is the type of running back that is successful in outside zone. So, seems like a good pickup. I've never, I've watched the highlight tapes, but I've never seen the kid play.
I think Brent put out about every highlight that was available on Twitter. So if you wanted to check out some of his video.
Brent actually had he released footage of the kid playing Call of Duty in his room.
I found this tweet interesting though. Zach Grant put out today: running backs who can cut laterally without slowing down are really good. If that gives you an idea about what you're getting with this kid.
Zach is funny now because he's dropping nuggets that, if you're paying attention, are insightful.
Sure. And he's got a year under his belt now. He's starting to spread his wings a little bit and
feeling it a little bit.
Well done.
Yep. All right. South Carolina wins the championship on the women's side, Aaron.
They did.
Important. Maybe the focus isn't always on the stars, but instead the focus is on the team that hasn't lost a game all year.
Yeah, it's probably something that, look, I didn't bet on this game. I didn't watch this game. I told you I don't have the bandwidth to take on anything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's over. The Caitlin Clark era is over. We'll see. Well, I guess she has one more year if she wants to come back.
She's already declared she's going to the draft.
So we'll still see plenty of her as she, assuming, goes the WNBA route. I can't imagine she makes the crossover to the NBA as some people have speculated. But
give me a break. No,
they're not my words. They're not. Don't shoot the messenger.
Just because somebody said some dumb shit doesn't mean you have to say it here. I guess she is about the same size as Reggie Miller, isn't she?
I mean, she's not small.
No, Reggie Miller was like thin, and
that's I thought you meant
height. She's like 6'2" or something, or 6 something, isn't she?
Caitlin Clark to be in the league.
Yeah, she's not. No, let's not do that. That's dumb. I was just making a Reggie Miller a skinny joke.
Yes.
Yeah. But anyhow, we'll see you guys tomorrow night. The BBP, of course, there is a national championship game. So Brent has thrown a fit, and we will be on at 7:30 tomorrow night for the BBP. And then Aaron and I are going to do everything we can to see if we can stretch that bad boy out to like 10:30. So Brent is really uncomfortable and mad at us.
I'm trying to get out by 8:30.
All right. Well, I guess I'm flying solo. I'll make it uncomfortable for everybody. But all right, that's going to wrap it up. We will see you tomorrow night, 7:30 for the BBP. This is the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya.